lyocell, and the subcategory name is HV100. So I'll go in depth to this story. Before, let me introduce myself. My name is Tuncay. So my background is denim. I worked in ISKO, the famous Turkish denim mill, for about 17 years in the R&D side. And afterwards, I made a change. I joined to Lenzing as the global head for Tencel in the denim industry. So, other than my denim experience, I'm also managing a platform called Carved in Blue. This is a nice platform to give insights to people about how denim is being happening, how can we make a better denim, what can be exchanged, especially some instruments for young people, some educational slots. That's really impactful as well. So let's talk about this narrative, the story. So I'm not going to give you a lot of information, but I'm just going to give you some idea, the story of that fiber. So the global fiber consumption since 1970s constantly increasing. So in 2024, we reached 128 million tons. So this mostly 69% based on synthetic fibers, oil-based. And 19% we use cotton. And our part of Lenzing, like MMCA producer, is only 7%. So please do not forget this 128 million. This is currently what's happening. Thinking of future, yes, this is a projection for future. So 2024, we have consumed 128 million tons of fiber. But if you see 2030, we will be reaching 145 million tons. So an extra of around 15 million tons fiber will be needed. 15 million tons extra fiber, if that trend carries on. So the projection, who's going to be fulfilling this extra 15 million? You see, the bottom line is cotton and wool, the natural fibers. So they are expected to be stable. So there is no major increase expected on the crop of cotton or wool, like natural fibers. Also, the second one here, this is bast fibers, like linen, hemp. They're also kind of stable. So where I'm trying to come is that this extra 15 million tons in 4 years of time will be fulfilling from mostly synthetic fibers and MMCF fibers. So this is a projection for brands and fiber experts. So there will be no more usage of MMCF fibers like synthetic fibers. But there are certain areas that consumer likes natural fibers. There are some aesthetics boundaries. So we're trying to work on that. How? Trying to understand the dynamics of natural fibers. So aside of the aesthetics, this is the fiber price development of the textile fibers since 21. So you see the most crazy graph is the long staple fiber, long staple cotton. And the second crazy one is this, the gray one, right? This is also very volatile. This is standard cotton, Far East quality. But if you see natural MMCF fibers, like cellulosic fibers, they're a lot more stable. So this is the idea of brands. Brands want to work with stable fibers in terms of price. The volatilities are not that much fun. A very good example currently happening. Due to the certain problems, geopolitical issues in the world, oil prices increased, and accordingly, cotton prices are invisible at the moment. So entire supply chain are really having hard time due to these unstable raw material prices. So summarizing those two things, I explained to you, the brand perception for the future, there will be a gap between demand and supply of cotton in the future. Coming back to the 15 million extra tons of fiber in the next 4 years. And price volatilities are likely to continue. There is no doubt. Even geopolitical issues are eliminated due to the climate change. The cotton crop will be volatilating. That's why it's not also very secure sourcing habitat. That's the issue. That's the reason why for the cotton intense segments of textiles like denim, the brands are looking for reliable, visible fiber resources, just like MMCF fibers, which are namely lyocell, modal, viscose, where Lenzing, the company I represent, is playing the ground. So there is more intention to use. But although those reasons are real valid reasons, that's not enough, because there are consumer habits. The consumer are, I would say, if you say denim, the standard for denim is always based on cotton, because cotton is the main material of denim, which we cannot change easily. So, coming back to our fibers, how can we fulfill this gap? I'm making kind of a comparison on cotton and our standard tencel. So, the cotton is extremely irregular fiber. It's extremely irregular. Even country to country, cottons are changing. Like the cotton coming from my country, Turkey, is medium quality, whereas Egypt is high quality. So there are a lot of variety in the cotton, which makes us this nice, irregular look. Whereas our standard tencel, which has been invented maybe 35 years ago, it is a constant fiber in terms of length, in terms of cut, in terms of tighter. It's really a uniform fiber. So for such a fiber, if you want to make a night dress, a suede fabric, it's perfect because there is no irregularity. But if you're going to make a denim, it's not that fun because it most of the time comes on the front side of the jean shiny, which is not the most preferred thing as per today's trend. And there are other disadvantages like dye pickup as well as wash down. So those issues made standard tencel to be limited in the denim composition and being mostly used by weft yarn, whereas the domination for the warp, which gives the aesthetics of the fabric, is going towards cotton. So that's the template. So seeing this picture, we were not happy that we were not hopeful that we can grab more portion from cotton. But coming with this new fiber, are we okay? Am I going so technical? Do you follow well? Yeah? So any question, I'm happy, right? Let's do it. We're not that crowded, so we can make it more interactive. Considering this previous page issue, the difference on the aesthetics, we came up with a new aesthetic option of tencel, which is the Tencel Lyocell HV100. So how do we do this? It's not rocket science. It's something so simple. The tencel, the new tencel we're coming up, is giving a more irregular yarn due to the physical specialties. What are they? First of all, it's slightly coarser. It's 1.7 Dtex, which corresponds to 4.1 micronair, exactly the same cotton micronair we're using for denim. And luster is not shiny at all. It's semi-dull. We're using titanium dioxide, which is a mineral, to make it less shiny. But the biggest differentiation, the very important differentiation, is in the fiber length. If we use this kind of fiber configuration, which is 28 millimeter carrier fiber, right? 50% of the bale, and the remaining 50% of the bale will come with a cut length range from 10 to 20 millimeter in a randomly range, 10, 12, 14, 16. So the people who are from spinning unit would definitely understand this histogram is exactly the same of cotton after blow room. So when you take out all the impurities like seeds, leaves, any other short linter kind of fibers, whatever you deliver to a carding machine has a similar configuration. That's why the yarn you spin out of that fiber will not going to be a perfect fiber. It will have a lot of irregularities, which is the key, I would say, story we're working on. So on this differentiation makes the aesthetics more closer to cotton. So what do we end up? What does that fiber look like? So when we propose that fiber for warp applications, because the aesthetics you gain on the fabric is coming from the warp yarn. I mean, that's the area where we need to make the change. So this is ideally to be used for warp. It's optional for weft yarn. You can also use weft. It's going to be less shiny, etc., etc. But all the aesthetics is going to be on the warp side. That's why this is typically more appropriate for warp. But if you want to use on the weft yarn, it's also available. So what happens? Our booth is down there. So I'm happy to show you a denim made out of 100% Tencel HV100 and looking like this. So we can today propose you a fabric which is looking like a 501, an extreme marble look, without any cotton in the warp. It's not just because we're fighting against it, it's just that option B is available today. That's the whole story. Like, especially times like that, the prices are so volatile, people want to have a B plan from a constant resource. That's the entire story. So in the past, we were never achieved to this kind of marble look in the past because our fiber was so uniform. We were never able to get a dark saturated indigo shade because the fiber was shiny. The shade was always kind of gray after wash down. And our softness was sometimes perceived as a bit not natural because all the fibers are parallel to each other, so there is no texturization in the yarn. And when you touch a pure standard Tencel fabric, it was kind of shaking like electric kind of fabric, especially the lightweights. But now we have a softness, but with the body. That's extremely the story we're working on. So that kind of softness is more appropriate also for men's side, which is the, I would say, the gap for Tencel denim in the history. So, if you're really curious, I'm happy. I've got a collection from 25 different mills, 7 different regions. I would say you're happy to come, and we have an apple-to-apple comparison also. What if we use pure HV? What if we use pure Tencel and cotton? I'm happy to explain this concept to you. So, a couple of numbers. Here you see we're working on a CV number which is identical for giving the yarn irregularity as an idea. So if you spin a 10 by 1 ring spun yarn, the CV from standard Tencel is around 8%. But if you add to this blend 30% HV, it jumps up. If you add 50 more, if you do a 70 HV, 30 standard Tencel, it is CV number without any slub, giving us all these irregularities, which is making our life easier to look like natural. And the second one, the hairness. This is extremely important for the indigo dyeing. So pure standard Tencel is at 8%. Sorry, the hairness value is 8, and cotton is 10, close to 9. But if we use a 70 HV 30 standard Tencel, we are even more than cotton. What does that mean? As I told you, I used to work in ISCO. When my brand customer asking me to develop a pure cotton fabric with Tencel, with modal, especially in the warp yarn, what I need to do in the back end to increase the dye recipe. Because the dye pickup of cotton is not the same as standard Tencel, standard modal. It's less because of the hairness. Those small hairs are helping indigo to migrate to the yarn. If you have less hairness, the dye pickup is always less. This is a bit technical, but giving you, if you understand the story, I think you engage much better. That's why our hairness values are increasing, which is helping us to have a dye pickup as saturated as cotton. And the next thing I want to say, this is not a good thing, but I want to be telling you, standard Tencel has higher tenacity than cotton, but adding HV100, due to the shorter fibers in the composition, of course, will decrease the tenacity. But two things, we're proposing that yarn for warp. So the bottleneck of strength in denim is always the weft yarn. So for warp yarn, it's hardly ever an issue. Second issue, we are decreasing, but we are still better than cotton, pure cotton. So that's why this is within the ranges. So imagine this like when we do stone wash, we're decreasing the strength of the fabric, but it's necessary to have a nice look. This is a similar story. There is a reduction, but not extreme to be afraid of. Yeah, this is just the understanding. So, what did we do in the past? So, some claims, because these are what you can memorize after this presentation. We now propose an irregular look comparable to cotton fabrics. So we're more textured. Our look is very much close to cotton. And this third thing is we're still giving a decent amount of softness, because as you understand, since I've started, I'm talking about cotton, right? So if we're identical with cotton, our price being more expensive would make some question marks in your mind. If you're making a cotton more expensive, what's the point? The point is that we are still giving you a fantastic soft hand feel. So simply, the fabric looks like cotton, but feels like tencel. So that's the entire story. So we're taking the authentic, iconic denim look from cotton, and we're giving you the tencel hand feel, which is today still for a long time in the market. The consumers still, they do like this softness. They are kind of getting inspired of cowboys wearing back in the 19th century those harsh things, but when they want to try it on, it's not that easy for them to manage that. That's why this look with a soft hand feel is a key for them to really engage with the story. And other things are, we are mostly, if you go to a shop today to buy some tencel denim for bottom weights, our fibers are mostly in the weft yarn. But we're trying to also grab some portion for the warp by avoiding those problems, as I explained to you, sheen, which is not needed, extreme drapiness is gone, and also the indigo stories, that the same dye absorption and the same level of wash down ability. So this is also opening us more rooms in the warp yarn, and these three icons are representing the sustainability story, which I think we don't need to talk a lot, because whatever you know about tencel in terms of being closed loop, less carbon emission, less water consumption, coming from secured wood resources, and having a moisture management, additionally closed loop production system is exactly the same. So it's not another tencel we're inventing. It's exactly the same lyocell. We're playing with the physical varieties to come close to the desired potential look. And what we did so far, we launched that fiber back in July. In July, we have collaborated with 17 denim mills in the world from 5 regions: Egypt, Turkey, Pakistan, China, and Spain. So with these 17 mills, we have came up with a collaborative collection. All these people are representing the same idea in their booth, like us, like we do. And after this presentation, interestingly, Avinash is here with us. He can give you more insight about how fast the commercialization of that product. Today, we are in the shop of Zara Men. And I have the pair of jeans in our booth. I can show you. So in a very quick time of period, maybe 6 months, we are in retail for a test order, because the result is really convincing. And it's from Zara Men, especially. I'm underlining that. I often visit them. They used to have some boundaries of this product being shiny and extreme soft so that it wouldn't work for men's. After seeing these improvements, they were the first one to try. Yeah? So this is already after this July 2025 launch. It is today, in this difficult climate, is in the shop. So it's really going fast, and we are already shipping by containers, by scale, to major mills, major denim hubs in the world, like China, Pakistan, and hopefully to India. So this was the first edition we had in July 2025. Sorry, October 2025. I'm so sorry. And then what happened? That's how we present the concept. Apple-to-apple comparison. This comparison blanket is in our booth. Please come, if you are interested, of course. You will see pure cotton warp, pure tencel warp, and pure HV100 warp. You will see several washes, and you will get all these stories videoized personally. And I'll be showing you also the garment washes of these all. Yeah? And then recently, in April 2026, a month ago, we came up with a second collaborative collection with all these mills. 20 mills from 7 countries. additionally Vietnam and Cambodia. So we are at the moment with this fiber available in 36 denim mills throughout the world, even in Mexico, even in Cambodia. We are commercially available. And I hope, also Avinash hopes we have some capacity problems because we can produce one of our factory in Austria entirely. So it's an internal development, and we do not have so far kind of a ramp-up issue. We can easily provide fiber for that. So those 7 mills, they have collaborated, and I'm thinking I came almost to end. I will show you 2 videos from outsiders of Lenzing. You may know this lady. She is R&D and development expert in Old Navy from Gap Inc. This is her idea from the concept. And the next one is Alice Tonello. You know her from Tonello Company. They will explain their feedback after seeing all these comparison blankets themselves, if the system allows me to run the videos. So I'm almost done.
100. I'm super excited to see this in the market because I think one of the first things I noticed about it was that the dye uptake was really incredible, and so instead of having to fight with like a dulled out indigo or any kind of gray in the dry process, we keep our beautiful shades of indigo very rich, very deep, and yeah, I've never really seen a better Tencel Lenzing product. So I'm really excited to kind of watch this come to market and watch it come to scale.
Yeah, so she said she's never seen any better Tencel product appropriate for denim so far. So I'm switching to the next one.
Hello, I'm Alice Tonello from Tonello Company, and we saw the new fiber Tencel HV100 that is amazing. Super bright and the same authentic look of cotton, but with the great feeling of Tencel. So we are super excited to try with Tonello machine.
Thank you. That depends on the blend you do. But it's never less than cotton if there's a reference for you to give. Like, let's say, if I make a 100% cotton fabric, and if I translate that to 100% HU100 fabric, it's not going to be less than cotton. But depending on the ratio, the blend, it changes. Like, I can tell you from the couple of tests I have seen, if you compare a warp yarn 50 cotton, 50 HV with fully cotton, we're still above, or if you compare with the fully Tencel standard, I would say 10% less than standard Tencel, but in the warp. So the tier strength issue, I know durability is a very kind of difficult issue at the moment, like everybody's so much careful about that. So we are never below conventional cotton. Because in fiber comparison, the tenacity of fiber of Tencel, fiber to cotton, Tencel is higher. So if we use the same cut length variation, we would never be less than cotton. So I'm talking about conventional cotton.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
Is it clear?
Yep.
I can share numbers if you want, but it's going to be so technical.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I won't take much of the time because the entire content was presented by Tuncay successfully. I would like to just give a brief about HV100 from the commercial perspective or availability perspective. The fiber is available in India. Some question may arise why it took a little longer time for this product to come and get started in India, because we had this typical BIS limitation for products to get into India, and this thanks to our government and working on this, and since middle of November towards end of a round of a campaign also where these products were taken to the different mills in India. They have appreciated it and they are going ahead with the developments. So soon it will be in commercials, and we will be having many mills also doing this product further in India. So On that front, we are very much prepared. Little bit on the business side also. Tencel and denim, they go hand in hand. That is what I know since my 20 years journey in Lenzing, and even before that when I was in industry. And things will continue. Only thing, the intent or the content or the demand will vary up and down based on what's happening with cotton. And present situation, as we all discussed last 1 month, it's literally going crazy for cotton, with close to more than 20% increase in the prices. So everybody is looking forward how the things are shaping up with the present disturbances which are there due to war also. And what we see for next 9 months or even for a year plus, the things are going to remain extremely strong and tight on supplies. Reason for that is nobody was prepared for war to get extended, and this has created a lot of a void, or this has left supply chain completely empty without things being planned in advance. And now that is something which is making bit of a challenging for everybody to manage the things. So we are trying to do our best to cope up with the present surge in the demand situation, and that's something which is our present objective. And also to keep our capacities completely running in these challenging times, because there is a lot of disturbance. Since everybody is from the industry here, they must be knowing what's happening with the caustic, what's happening with the sulfur, what's happening with the energy at the different countries at the different levels. So that's something which we are trying to manage to our best level. Yeah, so any questions, any queries are most welcome on product of HV100, and also general on lensing side also. Yeah, that's it. That's my small presentation, I would say. Thank you very much.